Hey, everybody, it's Brandi, the beauty business coach. I help beauty pros get unstuck and create the beauty biz of their dreams. We were on an awesome live chat, a beauty boss chat with Miki Wright. And I had my phone plugged into the computer, guys, but it died out. But I'm going to jump back on briefly with Miki. We were just getting juicy with it, and then my phone died. So I'm so sorry. I apologize for the technical issues. I did have it plugged into my laptop, so I'm not sure exactly what happened there. But I hope you guys will come back in and join us. And if you're catching a replay, feel free to, ask questions and chime in as well. But definitely, come back in and join us, and then we can continue on the conversation. Let's get Miki back in here.
Hi there.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm glad you were able to come back.
Yeah, it's a different. I swear, Instagram looks different on every account and every device. I tell you. Did you notice that?
Yeah, are you on a computer now? Or
No, I'm on another cell phone.
okay, got it. Yep.
Yeah, it looks a little different from the last one. It's weird, but yeah, that's what it happens.
Yeah, and I moved mine off of its stand, so
Oh, okay. Well, we're
oh
not gonna be as long this time. We were getting
yeah.
just getting juicy. I got it. The other phone is not even, charged up enough for me to even know if I
Wow.
could have the footage or anything. I hate that. But we should do stuff like this more often, though. Like different topics. I think it would be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, yep, I'm in.
Awesome. Hey, Patrice, welcome back. But yeah, but when we were left off, or what I remember, we were talking about the um, what is it? Knowing why you're charging the prices you're charging. I think Tish has said something about how somebody asked her who did she think she was,
Mm-hmm.
and I was saying what that goes back to is just really understanding your business overall, just really knowing exactly what's going in, what's coming out,
Right.
and having understanding why you charge what you charge and how to set your prices accordingly. And that just really goes back to looking at your business from the standpoint of understanding your numbers and the cost and all of those things. So just really understanding the business side of your of
Mm-hmm.
your of your business, of course, just understand the business side of things. And I think that's where people come with they lack confidence, they really don't know, and they're just throwing numbers out there. And back to what you were saying, like you could be paying people to do their hair if you don't set the prices correctly.
Right, right. I definitely see that a lot with discounting. It's like we
Mhm.
have a price, but we're scared to tell the client the actual price. So it's like, oh, well, if I knock off, $10 off of that, that'll be better. Or one lady that I met with with coaching, she was like, oh, well, sometimes I throw in the color, and sometimes I throw in the cut or the trim, or sometimes I throw in this, and sometimes I throw in that. And I'm like, have you purchased color lately? Do you know how much a tube of color is? Do you know how much the developer is that goes with it? Do you know how much the time that it's going to take to process, and the extra shampoo and conditioner and all the stuff that's going to go along with it? And it's like when she started thinking of it, she's like, oh, wow. And, some people think it's like, oh, it's really different because I'm in a small town versus a big city or what have you. But the products cost the same. It's like, and it's not even so much about knowing, all of your numbers. I believe that it's helpful and you should, but pricing, you're going to have to discuss whether you know your numbers or whether you don't know your numbers. And so you've got to get comfortable just having that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't charge, don't tell their clients how much their hair is going to be before they start. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
And what I think you should do is you probably, even though you offer consultations, you probably should do like a mini consultation. Make sure you're clear on exactly what's needed and what you need to do, and then set the proper expectations. So I talk to my clients about that all the time. It's really assessing the situation and then setting the proper expectations, letting them know exactly what it's going to take. But what the issue is with that is some stylists are not confident in the execution all the time, like the exact time that it's going to take them. So sometimes they'll underquote. So I think that's a good one for you to touch on, Miki, because you know, say if they do, okay, so say if they do sew-ins, we'll just do it like this. So say if they do sew-ins, and typically it takes them 3.5 to 4 hours tops to do a sew-in. But maybe they have this other lady, her hair is longer, is thicker, and it took them 2 hours to braid it down. So that tacked on more time to the overall style. So instead of your normal 3.5, 4 hours, maybe it took you 5.5 hours to do this sew-in because this person had very thick and long hair, and it took you longer to, you know, manipulate it,
Right.
longer than it would take for other people. So how would you go about that?
Well, everybody that has long and or thick hair already knows they have long and or thick hair.
I love it. I love it.
Always extra. It's
Oh no, you froze up a little bit. Hopefully she'll come back on like she froze up a little bit. Okay, like we lost Miki. I'm trying to get her back now. So let's see what happens here. She should be coming back in a second.
okay. I think I'm back.
I don't know what happened.
My phone kept closing. You know how it does that automatic, but it hasn't done that all evening. And so I was just tapping it, and then it took me to my page instead of your page, and who knows?
Oh, okay, no problem.
Yeah, but that's the thing I was saying. It's like, you know, anybody that has longer thick hair, they already know they have longer thick hair, and everywhere you go it's going to be more. You're going to need more time to do it. You're going to need more product for it. It's like there's more that's required. And so when you know are doing your consultation, which you should be doing a consultation not by text, not by phone, not by anything, you know, it's like you might do something visual, but you're still, when they get in the chair, if they, you know, are actually coming in, you're going to look at their hair and tell them, you know, it's like, you know, based on what we talked about, it looks like your hair is a lot thicker than that, or maybe it hasn't been cared for, because there's a lot of hair right now that's coming in, and there's so much more maintenance and kind of trying to get it together, you know, treatments and all that kind of stuff that are needed before we can even detangle and, you know, try to get it back in shape. And so those are things you're going to talk about up front. Or your hair is, you know, down to your mid waist. It's like, that is long hair. If it's past your shoulder, is one charge. If it's past your, you know, like your bra area, is another charge. And so you've got 3 more charges on top of long hair, you know.
Right, right. I love it.
And so you've gotta add all those things in. Like I said, your time and your knowledge. But the hourly thing only works or doesn't take into consideration the knowledge part, because if you look at it in reverse, there's this example with a plumber. You know, it's like you've got something going on with your house, and you know, it's like, oh my goodness, I can't get it to stop running or stop doing whatever it's doing, and you call the plumber in. Plumber comes in, you know, taps 3 times over here and twists something, and it's like, oh wow, it's all fixed. You know, how much is your bill? It's $250. $250? You were here 2 minutes. And it's like, yeah, I was here 2 minutes because I knew where to tap and I knew what to turn. You know what I mean?
Mhm. I love it. I've heard that analogy before, but it's so true.
Yeah, and so not everything we do is going to take a long time, because if we're experienced with doing it, it shortens the time, but it doesn't mean that it's less valuable, because it
Come
took.
on now. It doesn't mean it is less valuable, even if it takes you less time. And I think that's interesting too. Rather, it doesn't matter, but I think it's positioning. And I think people get afraid of that conversation, especially if they have to tell the client that it's more. So maybe the client booked a service that was $150, but when they got there, you looked at their hair, you really saw everything. You're like, okay, this is like a $220 service.
Right.
That's where where people get uncomfortable with talking to their clients about, and they'll just discount or just charge what they would regularly charge, but not charge what they should be charging. I think these things happen more often than they're actually discussed.
Oh yeah, definitely. But you know what happens? A couple things. One is they go on Facebook in a group. If not,
You
they're
ran like a bud, don't
they go on there and it's like, do you believe what this client did? It's like, she didn't even want to pay extra for such and such and such, but you didn't tell her it was going to be extra until the end. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, she's a little upset. I think the best surprise is no surprise. It's like, if you want to ensure getting paid, it's like you should have that discussion prior to. So she has the option, because it's like, she may say, you know what? Because sometimes people are like, oh, I want this and I want that and I want that. And it's like, okay, well, if we do all of that, it's going to be, $350 or what have you. It's like, oh, I don't want all that. You know what I mean? And there's options. You don't have to do all of it today. You know what I mean? It's like, we can do X and Y today. We can do Z next time, and we can do L the time after that, because it's like, I believe in having a relationship with the client. It's not like a money grab where it's like just trying to get you to spend as much money as possible, but based on what you shared that you want, this is what it's going to be. So let's look at plan B. Let's look at an alternative for you that's going to make sense. And, a lot of times we're seeing these great colors that are going out, the unicorn colors, the blondes, the balayage, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know how many conversations people are having about the maintenance that goes with those. And it's like, you shouldn't be putting people into them when they can't maintain them. After the weaves, where it's like, I can't really afford to come back in 3 months. So it's like, I'll just wear it for 6 months. And
Wow.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen people do that and lose all their hair because they tried to hold on. Like,
Right.
maybe they paid, a high price. Maybe they went to like a stylist that was charging them like top tier prices for their services. So they may have paid $400 or $500 to get this installed. And
Mhm.
so they can't afford to maybe go back for the maintenance in a couple of weeks or come back in 3 months to get it reinstalled. So they'll keep it for 6 months and then lose all their hair. That goes back to educating the client. So I'm for that, like properly educating your client and not just giving them something that they want. So if color isn't good for the condition of their hair, educate the client on that. If they're getting a color that's going to require them to come back every 2 weeks or every this for this, let them know that. If they have a sew-in and they need to only keep it a certain amount of time and have it maintenance this many times, make them aware of that. And then get confident enough to look at their hair and look at the situation and say, oh, this is going to be, when they tell you they want a X, Y, and Z, this is going to be $250. Is that okay with you today? Or I don't like, is that okay? But
Right.
this is $250. Do you want to move forward, or do we want to do something else? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? And in that way, they can know. I mean, you said nicely, like, it's gonna be $250 because you're getting a trim. We're going to do a treatment. You haven't had your hair maintenance in 3 months. So we're going to need that. We're going to need this. But educate them and let them know why and be confident in that, and then, work accordingly. But that is what it is. We have to make sure we're setting the right expectations for the clients, letting them know what the deal is up front. And then just really not only just letting them know what the deal is up front, but just really being confident enough to let them know and making the proper recommendations and being the expert. That goes back to being the expert, making the proper recommendations according to what they need based off of what you have sitting in your chair right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're absolutely right. And the phrase, I was just going to throw that in for anybody that's interested, that works really well, is, are you ready to get started?
I like that. Are you ready to get started? Because I was like, is that okay? Because that kind of sounds like you're not confident. Are you ready to get started? Or yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be $3,000, Miki. Are you ready to get started?
Exactly.
Don't mind me. I have no sense.
Yeah, I've interviewed. Actually, he was my first guest for Beauty Superstars Talk. Ted Gibson. It's like, he has the highest price haircut in the country, and he doesn't have any problem telling you, what it is, how it is, what the experience is going to be like that goes with it. And the last I knew, which I think I'm behind a couple of times for his increases, but it was at 1,500 a haircut.
Wow, yeah, I love it. I need to go back and listen to that interview.
Yeah, yeah, he's phenomenal, phenomenal.
Right, I need to go back and listen to that interview.
Yeah, not by.
It's so many things. What I want to talk about is so many things when it comes to business. What I love about this industry is that, we're creatives, we're artists, and I think that's what comes first with beauty professionals. But there's so many things to running a beauty business. There's so many ways to operate, and there's no right or wrong. You have to find the one that's fitting for you and your business and your situation. But that's why I love what we do, is because we can help guide you and talk to you through these things, because people ain't telling you like how to position yourself with pricing. People are not telling you how to upsell. People are not telling you how to educate the client and how to position it. Sometimes it's the wording and all those things. And those are some of the things that we teach us, how to position things, how to word things, and how to present things in your business. That's really going to help you to stay in business and get paid the business that you get paid, the prices that you want to get paid, and really enjoy doing what you do. I feel like there's so many people in the industry that they love, but they hate what they do because they're not doing enough of what they love. They're doing what they think everybody else wants them to do, or what they think is popular, when they really need to be true to themselves. And so that's part of my passion, is just to really empower us with that business piece, because I know that stuff that if you don't know it, you don't know it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the webinar that I have coming up, it's Level Up, and it's the salon pricing masterclass, where we actually go through a lot of the stuff that none of us have been taught, and it came from one of my clients. I was coaching her, doing some private coaching, and we were working on pricing because she was getting ready to make some different changes, and she wanted it all to fit together. And she's like, well, where do you even go to learn how to price your services as a hairstylist? And when she asked me that, I was just like, wow, it's like there really isn't a place.
Isn't anything. You really don't know.
Yeah, I'm like,
we really can't blame people for not charging, right? We really can't blame them, because it's just people perish for the lack of knowledge. And that's why we want to help people and give them more knowledge to run a successful beauty business. Oftentimes, you have the education, you're licensed, you're skilled,
right.
But it's taking that and building a successful beauty business with your skills and your license and everything, and making that work for you, and working smarter and not harder, and having those hard conversations and understanding how to set your rates and all of those things is something that we both tackle on. Like, I have a Beauty Boss Life masterclass coming up as well. You can check the link in my bio. But with the Beauty Boss Life thing, that's what I'm going to be talking about, is making those boss decisions. Yeah. Like, there's certain decisions you need to make in your business to level up, right? And so sometimes there's so many things we don't know what to do or what we should be focused on. And we're focusing on the wrong things when really our business needs this. So we need to make certain boss moves and implement certain things so that we can get on the right track to level up. So that's part of what we're going to be talking about, just becoming more visible, attracting the right clients, and positioning yourself to have a successful beauty brand. Right. So I'm definitely going to be talking about those things too. And the pricing piece, oh my God, I love it. I'm be telling people to join that one with you, Miki, because the pricing piece is something that I think it will be a struggle for a long time to come. Hopefully we can figure it out. Like, I wish it was like an easy way to map it out, but it's different for every business. It's depending on where you live and all of those things.
Yeah, there are some variables, but there's so many things that are like, this is, the formula. That's part of in the full training is go through the pricing formula. And we did that with a group that's already gotten started, and it was phenomenal. It was like kind of like that mind blown kind of, setting. I'm like, session is completely game changer. But it's like with the webinar, people were just like leaving like, oh my God, I never knew that. I never thought of that. It's like, and the aha moments were just crazy, and the engagement, everybody was just like, wow, okay. And everybody could tell like where they fit on the scale, because one of the things that it came up in one of the conversations I had with one of my clients, that we did this exercise as a team, for our team, when we were starting to do the spa, to, you know, looking at opening the spa. And a lot of our clients had actually been to full service spas, like where you go for the week and they take care of you or what have you. And so most of our team had not ever been to a day spa. And so how were we going to meet the level of expectation of the clients that were coming in? And so one of the exercises that we did is we went to a mall that had a Nordstrom, a Macy's, and a JCPenney. And we had them go in groups, you know, to each store. How does the store look? How does it feel? You know, how were you greeted? You know, the cleanliness and that type of thing, the arrangement, you know, how things are merchandised, how the, you know, the whole service experience and what they have to offer. And come back, you know, we all met and discussed and what have you. And so what came out of me meeting with my client about her pricing was that she realized she had Nordstrom level service, but she was charging JCPenney prices.
Come on now. Right. Or some of them got Nordstrom level service. They charging targeting Walmart prices. You know?
There you go. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. I love it.
Put both of those on a scale. So everybody watching, you know, like, where do you fall in the service category? You know, your hairstyling's good, your hairstyling is okay, whatever that is. And where are you falling on the pricing side? And the two need to match. That's the thing, because I'm like, there's nothing wrong with JCPenney. There's nothing wrong with Macy's. There's nothing wrong with Nordstrom. They all are existing. They're all still in business. Walmart's still in business. Target's in business. All of these things exist to meet a need. And so there is no right or wrong where it is, but it's a challenge. It's a huge problem when you're doing Nordstrom quality work and you're getting paid JCPenney prices.
Right. Thanks so much for the hearts. Hey, I think it was Janine said, hey, ladies, how are you? Thanks for joining, everybody. Let us know if you have any questions. Me and Miki, we're just having a beauty boss chat. We're just talking about the beauty business. We talked about pricing and a few different things, but oh my gosh, Miki, I love that analogy, like the Nordstrom, the JCPenney. I love looking at that because I think before I've heard another one where people did with hotels. Like, so you look at like the different high-end hotels and the different service, you know, level of service. And you kind of figure out where your business falls. Same thing, but I love that because I think it is going to be different from, because you're going to have a different structure for somebody who's just coming out of cosmetology school as opposed to somebody who's been in business for 10 plus years. So it is going to be different, but really looking at like, okay, what type of services am I providing and what level is my business at? And then what level of pricing should I be at? I think that's a great way to look at it for sure.
Yeah. And one of the things, you know, newer stylists, I don't know if there's any newer stylists on here, but, you know, go somewhere where, one, you can learn. It's like focus on learning more than earning when you first get started, because there's so much more than what you learn in school. And then two, go someplace where they charge more, you know, if at all possible. It's like there's a lot of value in going to like a low priced cutting place if you want to get really good at cutting and really fast. It's like, you know, that may be the learning that you want and need. But for me, it's like I always wanted to be more that luxury stylist, if you will. And so I found a place where this was what the pricing was. And when you work, you know, for someone else, you know, with commission and all of that, which is very valuable, very a good thing, you know, it's like people have all of these ideas that they're being cheated and this, that, and the other, but you're really not. So I'll just put that there. But when the price of the salon is, you know, $85 or $125 or whatever that price may be, you have no choice but to learn how to fix your mouth to say that. And one of the things that happens when you go from school right into, say, a suite or, you know, booth renting or on your own, you're not really working with others, is that you never learn how to say that. And so you say what's really comfortable for you to say, which might be $40 or $30. And if you look at that over your career, it's like in the group, we'll do this exercise where you'll actually see the results of that, you know, of going from 30 up versus even 50 and up.
Yeah, and when you say 30 and up, do you realize that most hairstylists never really raised their rates.
Yeah.
Never.
But if you start at 30, how much are you going to raise it? You might get to 35.
Mm-hmm. Or 40.
40. You're probably not going to go from 30 to 40. But if you start at 50, okay, and now maybe you're 55, maybe it's 60, maybe it's 65. You're going to, over the life of your career, you're literally looking at thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars difference just because you took the time to learn how to say that'll be $250.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we're shooting ourselves in the foot going to work by ourselves for our whole career.
Right. I don't think that's where anyone needs to start anyway. You need to learn. If you're just coming out of school, don't go at it by yourself because there's a lot you don't know. Like you were saying, definitely go to a commission salon or definitely work at an upscale salon or something for sure. So you get that experience. Because I feel you with the whole, like, so you go work at Great Clips and you do a $15 cuts all the time. And then you go from a $15 cut place to your own suite. You already have that cheap discount price mentality. So I feel you there. I hadn't really thought about it that way. Like when you come out of school, work, try to work at somewhere that's more upscale so you can really learn. But either way it go, work somewhere where you can learn because everybody wants to be the boss. And what you'll realize is sometimes you may be just good making your money, doing what you love and getting out, then they have to deal with owning a suite, owning a salon, paying the bills, getting the customers. You're doing everything. So you're the CEO of everything. You're doing marketing, you're doing social media, you're doing following up with the clients, you're, hiring people to come in, you're doing all these things. It takes a lot to do those things. And sometimes that might not be fitting for your personality. Sometimes that might not be for you. And that's okay. You can make really great money as a beauty professional working at a great salon. Don't think everybody has to be the boss. I see that in this industry because there's so much fast money that comes in this industry that everybody just want to get to that. They want to be the boss, but realize if you are a boss or not. Man, you might not be the boss. You might need to just go work somewhere, get your money and get out, and you'd be okay with that. And some people may want to go into the sweet life eventually after having an established business, and now that's something they want to do down the line. But I agree with you. I don't think it's something you should do in the beginning. And every situation is different for sure, but it can really help you in the long run understanding how to set your prices too if you go somewhere that has a proper pricing structure. I didn't even think about that too, because some places do have their stuff together and they have systems in place. And if you work for a company like that, you can learn a lot.
Absolutely. And one of the things I think people don't think about is that you can't keep all the money. It doesn't matter where you work. It's like
right. Yeah, I like you say that we can keep all the money. So you were talking about people think that in this industry they think they're being cheated, like especially if they work at like a commission base, so she's taking a percentage of my money and all of this. But part of that comes from, I believe, I want to touch on this just briefly, of people salon owners not properly setting up their structure. So what I mean,
set up their structure, you probably be getting what you're getting.
Pardon me?
If they properly set up their structure, you'd probably be making less than what you're making. Because you can't afford, as a business owner, to run a salon on more than 50%. And if someone coming right off the bat is starting at 50%, they want to go up. And so you're going to end up going backwards. You're going to end up in that situation where you're like paying the client to come in, you're going to be paying the people to and then you're losing money.
Now, what I was going to say to the structure piece is, so you have some salon owners who have a commission-based structure, right? But they're not providing clientele for them. They're not providing, all of the things that should be included in a commission-based structure. So they're not advertising, they're not providing products, they're not providing anything other than you give me this percentage of what comes in. Now, that's not a proper structure. They're not providing training, education. They're not bringing any clients. They're not doing any marketing, no products. You don't even have a option to make money off of like products and things like that, that's not a proper structure. So I would look for that too. Interview the salons that you go to as well, and make sure that they are about business and they have things set up properly and ask the right questions too. That's what I was talking about, because I think part of it is some people are getting cheated because some people are paying commission, they paying too high of a rate, nothing's included. The salons ain't taking care of you, and I think that's where it comes from. Why people say, "Oh, they're cheating me because they worked under a salon owner who didn't provide anything but wanted, 60% of your money."
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so first off, it's like what I would say is not your money to begin with. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know what you mean.
that was the salon's money. And
Yeah.
as far as marketing, it's like if they have a commission structure, they should be providing marketing, but that does not mean you're going to be provided with all of the clients that you need to do what you need to do. So you have to bring you in and be willing to market yourself, because the best way is not waiting on, oh, is it my turn to get the walk-ins? Because everybody's through them. The best way is for somebody coming in saying, hey, I'm here for Brandi. I only want her to do my hair or my makeup or whatever it might be, because Brandi's been out there marketing herself and saying like, oh, wow, and establishing these relationships and that type of thing. And I call it the biggest myth in the industry, that something outside of people and themselves is going to get them the clientele that they want. Whether
Right.
owner, the client fairy, or whatever it is, that
Right.
there's all these people that are just going to come in and sit in your chair. And that is not the way this business works. It's like you're responsible for your own paycheck. So that means you need some skin in the game. And
Yeah.
a salon, and we did marketing, we did advertising and all of that. But it's like each and every single person, it's like you better be out there marketing yourself, talking to people, meeting people, because it's all about relationships. And so, obviously now there's social media, but are you being social on social media? Or are you just, oh, I'm posting, but nobody's coming,
Yeah, but you don't engage. You don't do nothing. You just post pictures of your hair all the time, and that's it.
Right.
So it takes more than that. Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from with that, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, there's not going to be, and I think it's not just one thing either, Miki. Another thing I wanted to just touch on really quick. Like, when you're building, you need to always be planting seeds. You need every time you connect with a potential person. When you go to the doctor, tell somebody, she say, your hair is beautiful. Be like, girl, I do it. Let me give you my card. I'm a hairstylist.
Right.
Like you need to be talking to everybody. Like, I've gained clients at the doctor. Like, really. Like, I kind of booked a wedding going to the doctor.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's you need to always be plugging, planting seeds, attracting clients, not just social media, giving out your cards, talking to people you see. When I had a lady the other day, she asked me about my lashes. I have lashes, and I have some in the car. If you want them right now, let me show you my card. Here's my website. I connected with somebody. So I'm always doing that. And I think we forget that the client fairies aren't going to send you clients. You have to put yourself out there. You have to show people what you do. You have to be visible, and more than just social media, but just, planting seeds everywhere, be very strategic about gaining new clients, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I used to call it the breadcrumb theory. It's like if somebody was coming behind you, they should be able to see everywhere you went, because you met people and left cards and left a trail leading back to
Yeah, but haven't you done that before, Miki? I'm pretty sure somebody's complimented you or something, like when you were working.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, yeah, let me give you my card. Come on down there,
Anybody almost that I've ever met where I said, introduce myself as a hairstylist, they're like, oh, really? It's like, what can you do for me? I mean, it's just so instantaneous that it's not even work. You know what I mean? And I was super shy. So it's like getting out there and talking to people, which was, we didn't have social media as an option. It was hard. It's like I had to get over my shyness and I had to talk to people. But again, I was so excited about what I was doing that I just did it. It's like, okay, it's like, let me go out and hand out 5 cards today. Let me go out and do this. Let me, talk to this, this many people. And where I worked, it was a very busy salon, and I planned to start as an assistant, but it didn't work out that way. So I got a chair, but I didn't have any clients and not very much experience either. I was kind of just out of school. But I just assisted everybody and anybody in the salon to the point where I knew all of the clients by name, all of their clients. What do you want me to do? You need me to shampoo? You want me to get them base for a relaxer? It's like whatever it is, I'm ready.
I like that. I think that's the sign of a successful person, because I believe that most people aren't willing to do what it takes to be
True.
successful in their business.
Mm-hmm.
Right, for that matter, right? Because you were a go-getter. You were hungry, and so you took advantage of every situation, and you helped everybody. You proved yourself. And nowadays, you don't see that as much. Everybody just wants something handed to them, or they think they're owed something, or the the fairies, like you said, the
Gary's not coming.
the fairy ain't coming, the client fairy ain't coming to drop off the clients to you and do all these things. It does require work, and you do have to put yourself out there, and you do have to prove yourself sometimes and show yourself. But those people who do that, who get to know everybody, who do the things that you did, that's why you had like the #1 spot and all that, the first Black-owned spot like that, because you were willing to go the extra mile. You were willing to, get your hands dirty so that you could build up your beauty business.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it takes that, that commitment and that excitement and that desire. And if you sit and wait for it, you'll be waiting a long time because
nobody bringing you nothing, honey.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Even the best of salon owners, and I've worked for some really great salon owners in my career, even if they want you to be, this great stylist, a 6-figure stylist, they can't do it all for you. It's like there's not a salon owner that's going to get you to 6 figures. You have to get you to 6 figures with their help.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they don't have the time to spend just with you trying to make sure your life is, the way you want it. And they have other things, to do, like their life and their salon and their business. And also, not everyone that's good at, like, say, doing hair is good at explaining doing hair. And not everybody who's a good salon owner is good at explaining what that means. And they're not everybody is in a teacher kind of thought process. And so even if they know what they're doing and they're doing it well, they may not be able to show you. You've got to have that initiative and take those extra steps and sit and watch. One of my salon daughters, one of the young ladies that started with me at 14, it's like she could tell you how each person in the salon held their irons and the hair and how they did and how they, how they would enter the hair, how they would curl, and like down to it's like, and this person stands like this and does such and such, and then they go, because she had observed from that level of detail each person.
Yeah. And she was like you. She wanted it. Like, she really had a desire to get in this industry, and she wanted to learn. And so she was paying attention to all of those things. And those are the little details that you'll pay attention to when you want it that bad. And sometimes it takes, stepping outside of your comfort. It does take. It's not sometimes. It takes stepping outside of your comfort zone. It takes being on social media, going live. It takes handing out your card, talking to people, showing up in different places. All of those things can really help and benefit you, especially if you're trying to build your business and your clientele and all those things, for sure.
Absolutely. Yep. You got to put in some elbow grease. So
yeah, you got to do something. They be like, girl, I posted. Don't nobody be coming to book me.
Right.
Well, they ain't me. Like, that social media stuff don't work. I posted my hair pictures.
Yeah.
So it takes a little more than it does. It really does. And consistency is the key, and just continuously showing up and going hard for your business, just as hard as you would go for anybody else's company, is what you really need to do in your beauty business, for sure.
And creating the relationships, because like, there's a young lady I work with who was just kind of in awe of everybody who was busy in the salon. It's like, oh, I can't wait to get there. And I definitely, have been in that spot. But I was asking her, like, what would a full book look like for you? And she had no clue. Like, how many clients do you need to do a week? How many do you want to do a day? All of those kind of things. Because in the grand scheme of things for hairstylists, it really doesn't take that many clients to get booked. You know, it's like if you do 5 days a week, and let's say you do 6 clients a day, and maybe that's light, maybe you do 10, or, you know, I'm a proponent of doing less, but 8 was kind of my sweet spot. So if you do 8 clients a day, 5 days a week, that's 40 clients a week. If they come in once a month, you need 40 times 4, you need 160 clients. Are there 160 people out there that would want you to do their hair, want to give you a shot to do their hair or their makeup or their skincare or whatever that is? That's not tens of thousands of people that you have to be trying to find. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
yeah, that I like that formula, and I think that's a great way to look at it. Like, okay, how many clients? And I talk about that when we talk about the income goal. Like, when you try to get to a certain income goal, you know, we look at that. We look at the services that we offer, and then we also look at, well, how many of those clients would you have to serve each day, and then break it down each month. I love that, definitely. But I had another thought with that. I lost it. I had another thought with it'll come back.
But yeah, what you were talking about, you know, with the boss life, it's like, it's not for everyone. And so I appreciate you saying that, because everybody wants to be the boss, but, you know, not everyone wants to pay the cost to be the boss. So
yeah, it's a cost to be the boss, honey. Trust me, it is a cost. People don't believe that. You don't buy into the glitz and glamour and everything of it. It is a cost.
Yeah.
And to whom much is given, much is required. And it is a lot required of you. And that's not for everybody.
Right.
And the whole teacher piece, you were talking about the teacher piece. I thought about that too. Everybody's not a teacher either. Because remember when we were in the pandemic, it was all like, oh, teach a class, teach what you know. But everybody's not a teacher. And I was worried about that a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was worried about that a little bit. Like, everybody can't teach.
Right.
That might not be, but if it is your lane, then write it. But if it's not, find something you could do for passive income for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of different opportunities out here. And I see, looks like I see Gary. So hey, and Patrice. Oh, she says so good. Yes, it is. Erin Elise, hello. We're glad you guys are joining us.
Yeah, but we just wanted to kind of chat. If you guys have any questions or anything, let us know. We're not going to stay on too much longer. This is like a continue of the conversation. We had some technical difficulties before, but I think this is good for us to kind of talk about these things, because I know that it's stuff that I hear all the time. People are struggling with their prices and raising their prices and all of those things, and just really understanding. It can be. I'm sorry. I almost did what you did. Yeah, but it can be really hard. It can be really hard running a business, figuring all these things out. So don't do it by yourself. There's people out here like Miki and myself who can help you. Mm-hmm. And if you need some help, get the help. Sometimes just talking to somebody who's been through, understands what it takes to build a business, and knowing your numbers and all those things, and figuring out, like you said, some people don't even know how many clients that they need each day, or how much money they need to make to get to their goals and all those things. So just simply understanding that. And like we talked about earlier on a previous recording, having the right confidence and your mindset. There's so many different things to work on. Right. And sometimes hiring somebody to help you can, you know, help you to avoid some of the mistakes you may make, help you to just push you in the area where you need to be pushed the most, and help you to thrive in your business. And that's what we're here for. We're here to really help and support you, because we want to see this community grow. So whoever you choose, if you need to help, if you're struggling with pricing, if you're struggling with growing your business, attracting your clients, getting your mind together, all those things, contact us for sure. Reach out to Miki, she get you together. Reach out to me, I'll get you together, because it's needed for sure.
Yeah, and I'm niching down into the pricing, because it's such a need, and it's like I see so many people all over the place with their pricing.
Yeah. Somebody asked earlier, like, I didn't want to touch it. I think it was Michelle. She was talking about what's best. Is it commission? Is it hourly? Is it this? And that's a hard question because I think it's really depending on your business. And so I can't say, oh, everybody needs to do hourly, everybody needs to do commission, everybody needs to do, because every situation is different. So it's really an individual decision. But just really understanding what it's going to take for you to operate a successful business and be profitable. We just want you to be profitable. We're not saying you got to rob people or whatever you got to do, but you need to have a profitable business. And I find so many people in the beauty industry are not profitable. That's what it is. They're not profitable. And the reason why they're not profitable because of their pricing structure, their raise, they're not giving themselves raises, they're not taking their time and their experience and all these things into account and everything. So yeah, we want to see more people profitable for sure.
Yeah, and just like to separate some of those things, it's like your pricing is what you're charging for your services. If your commission, that's a pay structure. And so separate, your
pay. Yeah, that is a pay structure based off, yeah.
Separate from your pricing structure.
Yeah, I would just say, I think she had asked that, like, what's the best, but yeah, it really, you can't, that's not something you can really answer just on a line.
But I've developed what I call sweet spot pricing. So it's personalized, but there's a formula that goes with it.
Yeah.
And so you're not just pulling stuff out of the air.
You're right.
Going with an hourly, like, because I've heard people that talk to, groups or what have you. They may have a product company or that type of thing, talk to groups. And it's like, okay, we just tell everybody to charge, $100 an hour, 125 or whatever the hourly rate is. But it's like everybody in there, that may not be the price for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Basing our prices on other people, and we keep comparing really apples to oranges. And we need to make sure that if we're working with apples, that we keep working with apples, and that we're, like I said, that sweet spot pricing, which is your pricing, which may even change or shift as you change and shift, in terms of your career. But you have a formula to work with from there, because it's crazy just kind of being all willy-nilly, And I've definitely have been in the not profitable category at points. And so it's like, that's one of the reasons I work extra hard to make sure that my clients are profitable. Because I know struggle is like too. It's like trying to, how they say, rob Peter to pay Paul. So yeah. But
I think that's a big thing though. The pricing, the way they set their pricing is the reason why they're not profitable. So you're definitely on what you are.
It can be both. It can be partly pricing structure. It can be partly on the payroll structure. If you're a salon.
Oh yeah, if you're a salon. Yeah, that's true.
Like when you talk about salon owners, it's like if salon owners really have their pay structure together, it's going to be less than 50%. And some people are going to be like, what? And it's like, but it's like. But if you're with the right salon, it's like even with a lower percentage, you're going to make more dollars in your pocket. And that's what you're looking at. Not the commission, but what actually ends up in your pocket. And that's from them. If they run a great business, then you're gonna win.
Without all the stress, let her handle all that, and you just make all your money.
Exactly.
Right, and that's good for somebody, and it's okay. Like if that's you, and finding a salon with a good structure that where you can make the commission and make the money, and you don't have to deal with the ownership side of things, and that's great. And some people will go into ownership, but I feel like nowadays with the whole sweet life, it's painting the picture like everybody can be an owner. So. That's the dream. So I have taught at cosmetology schools, and that's everybody's dream to get out and go into a studio or a suite.
Right. Yeah. So one thing is that, it's like I've taught for a long time. And so, way before the suites got really popular, but I would always ask, how many of you guys want to be a salon owner? And, all the hands fly up and I want to be an assistant. And there's like, I want to be an assistant. And it's like, as a salon owner, you do the same things that you do as an assistant. And it's like, responsibility. You're cleaning up, you're sweeping up, you're doing the towels, you're running the front desk. It's like all the things you don't want to do are the things that you are signing up for when you sign up for that, that ownership part. And if I could just share a little secret with folks, it's like most of the time, the stylists that work in the salon make more than the owner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
every the owner.
because what people don't understand, like I've talked to like people who had $1 million businesses, multi-million-dollar business. So their company may be worth $5-6 million. But that doesn't mean that they have $5 or $6 million in the bank. They have employees, overhead. It's so much that goes into being the owner.
Right.
When it came down to it, they don't have $1 million. Now their businesses may be worth $1 million, but they don't have $1 million in the bank because all of that. So I think people get that confused. So I'm glad you brought that up. But like you said, if you're an owner, you are doing the assistant tasks. Like those are the tasks you do. You clean it up. You do taking the pictures. You're doing the stuff. All the stuff that you would hire somebody to do.
Yep. It's like those are the things that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're hiring somebody, you're overseeing them to do those same things. It's like
right.
gotta run. And it's kind of amazing, how similar it is no matter where you go, or, it's like I haven't been in the salon in a little while, and I was coaching someone who was in her salon and having to kind of replace the receptionist, and, the phone calls coming in and they're like, oh, well, what time is my appointment? That is just so age old,
Right.
And she's like, we have automated, this, they get a text beforehand, they get a confirmation the day before, and it's like, and they still call in and say, what time is my appointment?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Some are just universal,
They are.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if we could be talking forever, so we're gonna wrap it shortly. But I was thinking, like, there should be something, how there's a survey where you can kind of figure out, what you should be doing with your life career-wise. There should be something where, like, for hairstylists to kind of figure out if you're an owner or if you're, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if somebody already has that program, but people should take that and just be honest with themselves.
Right.
Because everybody wants to be the boss, because that's what looks glamorous.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely very sexy, and a lot of the stuff around ownership isn't sexy at all.
At all. I can tell you that, honey. Some days I'll be like, what? Some days you just like, like, with business, it's just like, so if you, hey, I love what I do and I wouldn't change it for the world. And I feel like this is my passion and something I want to do. There's things that I'm doing right now. But I do understand it's hard and it's not for the faint of heart. And so, yeah, maybe I might come up like ways to figure out like what should you go after when you get out of school? Like, should you go into a suite? Are you ready for that? Should you go to a commission-based salon? Should you go do booth rent? Like what? And maybe figuring out, some ways you can kind of answer those questions for yourself to see which one.
That's a good thing to do, like kind of like a self-quiz kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, it's like when you get out, it's like go where you can learn.
Where you can learn. Yeah, definitely.
What you earn, because it's like that earning, it will springboard once you learn the things that you really need to know. And school, they do, they give you the basics, enough to pass the test. And most times it's like, honestly, even if you think you're a hot and popping stylist, when you get into that salon setting, the owners are like, they're not prepared. And I know, I was one of the top folks in school. And when I got into that salon and I was seeing all that hair going out of there, I was like, ooh, okay. It's like, I got to step up.
I hear that a lot. Like, I hear a lot of salon owners say that they're getting people fresh out of school that requires so much training, like a lot of work.
Right. But if you think about it, it's like school is typically about 1,500 hours. That's about 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
not enough time for you to learn everything that you need to learn, period. You know, when you talk about the 10,000 hours or whatever, being an expert or what have you, and maybe it doesn't take you 10,000.
You must have got a call or something.
Yeah, it's like my thing is getting low now. My bad.
Oh, okay.
But it may not take you 10,000 hours, but it's probably going to take you longer than 9 months to be
Right.
efficient with what you need to know. And when you get out, it's like, to me, it's like, it's always very exciting. Let me put this in. Can you see it? Okay.
Yeah, I see you.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It went out. I was like, uh-oh. So I plugged in. But when I hear people, you know, graduating from school, I'm always super excited because I know what it takes in terms of the commitment to, you know, go through school, you know, make it through all the different stuff, get your license and what have you. And I'm always like, you know, congratulations, but you just graduated kindergarten, you know.
Right. I love it.
Now is when the learning starts. You know, it's like you get to go to first grade and then second grade, and you know, it's like soon you'll be, you know, through high school, but now you're just graduating kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Somebody said school does not prepare you for the salon. It doesn't, and that's why I absolutely agree with everything you're saying. Like, you need to get trained. You need to go somewhere where you can learn. And that's usually what I recommend to people who are just starting out. Like, go somewhere where you can learn and see what it's like. See what salon life is like. Like, you haven't even experienced salon life, and you going into a suite by yourself.
Right. Right.
That don't make any sense.
Yeah. Assist. You know, it's like, don't be afraid to assist.
Especially for us too, though, because texture hair, like, they don't teach texture hair at the salon.
Right.
Not at the salon, at the schools, right? We know they don't teach it.
Right.
And even for state boards, it's not geared towards texture hair. So we know that. We know that that's not effective yet in state boards. So, especially with us, I feel like we need to find somewhere else to learn. And the best way to learn is you just paid all this money for cosmetology school. Go to a salon that can teach you and train you, and you can learn and grow. And once you learn and grow, you build your clientele, then you can step out eventually. Like, I love that the way you said how you're in kindergarten when you finish cosmetology school. I love it. I love it.
That's where you are, literally. And it's like, you know, go to somewhere and stay there a couple years at least, you know, and actually learn something, actually pay them back for all that they're paying you. It's like, what we need is people who come out of school respecting the salon that they work with, who is giving them more valuable training than they got in school, understanding that it's like, okay, I spent 20,000 here. I really should be spending 20,000 with this salon owner. They're teaching me is even more valuable than the than what I learned in school. That this is the part.
Did you say that? I talk to a lot of salon owners who will have people to work for them for 4 to 6 months and then think, okay, I'm going to get my suite.
Yeah. Number one, they're not ready. And number two, you know, it's like we have to have boundaries, relationships, and things in place, even agreements. You know, if I'm going to make this investment, then this is what I'm requiring or requesting from you, because it's a lot for a salon owner to take time out of their day to train you to do the things that you need to do. And in 4 to 6 months, you probably haven't gotten them. You haven't probably,
right.
Because a lot of what we do, of course, is relationship. So we've got to learn how to create these relationships for the most part. And then there's learning things like cutting. It's like, it's a concept and there's so many things. It's like, even if you are born talented, you're not proficient in it on textures, all different, you know, types of cutting and that type of thing. So that's a perfecting level. Then if you're into color, it's like there's a whole lot to learn about.
There's a whole science to color. Color is deep.
And if you're doing braiding, it's like there's a lot to learn about braiding. Like, people are like, you know, like, I know people, you know, they're talented. They've been braiding on the, you know, on the block or what have you. They go to school and think I already know it all. But it's like, you know, when you look at these master braiders, I just saw some of Capele's work. Oh my gosh, it's insanely incredible. You know,
Mhm.
perfection, and you don't
Right.
care just having braided on the block and gone to school for braiding for a couple of 2 or 3 months or something like that. It's not a long program, but go somewhere where you can study with the masters. Study at the seat of someone who knows and is willing to show you because
Yeah, and don't be afraid to be the student, right?
Mhm.
For one, you should be a forever student. I feel like we should always be learning and improving. But don't be afraid to be the assistant. We all got to start somewhere. Don't be afraid to learn more, to be the student, to
Mhm.
get what you need. Don't be in such a rush to become the boss or to go into all these things that you may not be able to handle. Learn everything. Be a sponge, but get all the knowledge that you can so that you can be the best hairstylist and so that you can provide the best services and be the best at what you do.
Mhm.
Stop rushing out. Everything that glitters ain't gold.
Mhm.
And and everybody ain't a boss. And so just really figuring out what role you play in this industry is very important. Like what your lane is, what your sweet spot is, what you're good at, and really, really enhancing that and getting in a salon that can help you enhance the gifts and talents you already have is the best thing to do. And I like what you said, a couple of years, 1 to 2 years, really learn because I talked to a lot of owners who are getting burnt by people who just, want to come in and learn something real quick and hurry up and leave and go do their own thing. And that's what's been trending. I don't know if you've heard that, but
Mhm.
that's been what's been trending lately in the industry.
Right.
And it's out for that.
Yeah, but they're not really prepared. It's like they're still shooting themselves in the foot.
Mhm.
It's hard from the owner standpoint, but it's like the owners have to put more parameters in place.
Like you do need like a non compete
Not
disclosure and all those things.
Yeah,
Yeah, non compete. You need that. You definitely need to make sure you have contracts and things in place because a lot of that is happening and it's part of it. I think our industry has always been that way. Our industry looks glamorous. People think like, oh my God, I want to do hair, I want to do makeup, I want to work on set, and I want to do this, and they think that's all they see, but they don't really see the real work behind it.
absolutely. Yeah, and there's so much that goes into it. It's like from formulating things and having consultations and all of the different pieces that really take your whole experience to a whole nother level are things that aren't taught necessarily in school. So it's like keep learning, keep growing. And, like you say, don't be afraid to, work for someone. It's like I've had incredible experiences, and the best leaders, I think, are the best followers as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, girl. We could be talking forever. I hope this was
Oh,
helpful to people. Thank you guys so much for joining. We need to do some things like this more often. I think is just helpful to people just to have these conversations because I know when I was coming up in the industry, people wasn't having these conversations or they weren't telling you this stuff. They weren't telling you the real about
right.
what it takes to run a beauty business. They wasn't giving you the real, and that's what one of my focuses is to give people the real and to help them to get to a level where they can be successful.
Yeah.
Because last time I checked, like they say the average income for a hairstylist is 29,000. So that's why I always post stuff about
Hmm.
6 figures. I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
we are a necessity, honey. Because beauty is a necessity. I gotta look good. My hair gotta be right. I gotta have my stuff together. So don't let nobody fool you into thinking that this industry is not a necessity. And for people on TV, the people who are out there doing things, they need their makeup, they need their hair, they need
Right.
you. And so this industry is definitely a necessity, and we just want to help to empower and improve the industry. We want to help to create more successful business owners by setting their pricing structures right,
Hmm.
getting their mindset together, and their confidence, and all those things are a lot of stuff that we talk about for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
do you have anything else you want to add, Miki?
Well, just, it's like if anybody, got something out of what we shared, it's like just let us know, what stood out to you, what resonated for you or was like the aha moment. It's like I always love to know that. And
I do too.
hey, Twist and Curves. Hey, Maria. So glad you're here. We're about to wrap it up, but hopefully join us soon. Um,
Yeah, but anybody that we miss, you're welcome. Here by Nicole, Renee. But thank you, everybody that we miss.
yeah,
DM us. Let us know what you enjoy. If you have any extra questions for me or for Miki,
yeah,
reach out to us. Definitely let us know. I want to hear it too. Like, or you can just screenshot this recording
uh,
and share it in stories
that'd be a great.
and tag us.
Yeah, and I want to definitely invite everybody that may be watching, to join for the webinar. It's a free webinar. It's on Tuesday, July 20th, which is coming up pretty quickly. And it's called Level Up, and it's the pricing, the salon pricing masterclass. And we'll actually be going through three different things that most hairstylists don't have any idea about in terms of their salon pricing, and it's actually costing them thousands of dollars because they don't know. And so join us if you have questions about how much you should be charging, when it's time to raise your prices, talking to your clients about actually what their hair is going to cost them. If that's a challenge, it's like, definitely join us. And you can join at beautysuperstars.com/level up. And I will be putting it in my bio tonight as well. So hope to see you guys there and get you on the road to charging what you're worth, because, that's the whole thing is like, you're worth more, but you're not charging it.
Right, right. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I also have a free webinar coming up as well, the Beauty Boss Life Masterclass. So check that out in the link in my bio. And definitely check Miki's out. If you're struggling with pricing, you need to get that together. Check hers out for sure. Check mine out. Whoever resonates with you, whatever you decide to do, but get some help, get some support, and let's boss up these beauty businesses. Let's change the overall average. And a part of the reason, I'm gonna tap on one good thing, that the average is that because some of y'all don't have your businesses set up, so you ain't even filing taxes right. That's a whole nother story. So
that's a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother topic. So y'all are lying and killing the game. So they think our industry is broke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't they?
True story. Yep.
Yeah.
But it came.
So,
the something comes home to roost. The chickens come home to roost last year when the PP money or PPP money and the idle and all of that, and you had to have your tax stuff in order, and even some of the other money that was available. You had to have a website. People didn't have a website. There were so many things like running your business that we didn't have in order, and it was all brought to light. It's like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what I work on too, is helping people get their businesses in order. Because I realize some people, they have successful businesses, but they just don't have it in order. And they're actually hurting themselves more than anything. And so that's something we touch on too. But that's a whole other subject. But thanks everyone for joining us. Make sure you follow us. My page is I am Brandi Taylor. Miki's, what's yours?
Miki Wright, MikiWright.
Yep. So make sure you're following us. Follow Miki. If you are not, reach out to us. Let us know how we can support you. That's all we have for you. Thanks for joining the Beauty Boss Chat. Let us know if you have any other topics too we can bring up as well. So let us know. Take care, everybody. Bye, Miki.
Appreciate this. This is great.
Take care.
Everybody have a great night.
Yeah.